Bonjour! Today we are going to learn how to ask for time and how to tell time. In France, there are two ways of telling time. The first one is called heure officielle and the second one is known as heure familière. Before we look at these two ways, let's look at the word heure, H-E-U-R-E. Heure means hour and it is in singular feminine form. How do we ask what time it is? So the question is, quelle heure est-il? Or you can also ask, il est quelle heure? And how do we answer to these questions? Normally, you will say, il est, and you put the hour, and then after the hour, you put the word heure with S or without S, and you put your minute. Okay? We answer with il est. Okay? Now, there are few things that you need to remember when you are using heure officielle. Okay, the first one is, it is a 24 hours way of telling time. It's called 24 hours. For instance, you have 3 p.m. or 3 in the afternoon, and it's 15 hours in 24 hours. And in French, 15 is 15. So we say, il est 15 heures. Okay. Second, when using 24 hours or heure officielle, you must remember to use numbers at all time. For example, you have 14:58 or 2:58 in the afternoon. In official hours, we say il est 14h58. Okay. Now, number 3. When using official hours as well, we do not use quarter or half. We need to use numbers. So we use 15 for quarter and 30 for half. Okay, for example, you have 5:15 in the morning. We say il est 5h15. Okay, another example is 8:30 in the morning. We say il est 8h30. Right? So you have 15 for 15 and 30 for 30. Now, number 4, please remember that when the hour is 1 is 1 a.m. or 1 is 1 a.m. For example, 1 a.m. in the morning, we say il est 1 heure. Now, 1 heure, you actually have two words for number 1. The first one is un, un. It is in masculine form. And the second one is une, une, and it is in feminine form. Since the word heure here is in feminine form, we need to use number 1, which is in feminine form. And that is why we use il est 1 heure. And do not forget to put heure in singular form, which means it is spelled without the letter S because it's 1 hour, 1 a.m. Now, let's read all the hours in heure officielle. You have 1 heure, 2 heures, 3h05, 4h10, 5h15, 6h20, 7h25, 8h30, 9h35, 10h40, 11h45, 12h, 13h10, 14h58, 15h, 16h, 17h, 18h, 19h, 20h, 21h, 22h, 23 heures, 24 heures, or 0 heures. Okay, we have seen how to tell time in using heure officielle. Now, let's look at how we can tell time using heure familière. Now, there are a few points that you need to remember when using heure familière. Okay, the first one, if heure officielle is 24 hours, heure familière is 12 hours. Alright? Now, number two, when using heure familière, you need to add the expression of, okay, example here you have du matin, in the morning, de l'après-midi, in the afternoon, and also du soir, in the evening, at the end of your expressions. For example, 2 in the morning, you say il est 2 heures du matin. Now, next you have 3 in the afternoon, you say il est 3 heures de l'après-midi. Next you have 7 in the evening, you say il est 7 heures du soir. Okay, number 3, here in heure familière, you are allowed to use quarter and half instead of numbers. So in heure officielle, you need to use numbers, but in heure familière, you can use quarter and half. Okay, for instance, 5:15 in the morning, you say il est 5h15 du matin. I repeat that again. Il est 5h15 du matin. Quart here means quarter. Another example is using half, which is 8:30 in the morning. You say il est 8h30 du matin. And demi here is half in French. Now, I'm going to read the column where you have time written in heure familière. So, il est 1h du matin. You always have to put il est, alright? Remember. 2 heures du matin. 3h05 du matin. 4h10 du matin. 5h15 du matin. 6h20 du matin. 7h25 du matin. 8h30 du matin, 10h moins 25 du matin, 11h moins 20 du matin, midi moins le quart, midi, 1h10 de l'après-midi, 3h moins 2 de l'après-midi, 3h de l'après-midi, 4 heures de l'après-midi, 6 heures du soir, 7 heures du soir, 8 heures du soir, 9 heures du soir, 10 heures du soir, 11 heures du soir, and minuit. For 12 noon, you say il est midi, and for 12 midnight, or midnight, you say il est minuit. Midi means midday, and minuit means midnight. Okay, just another point here. In English, you can say it is 20 minutes to 11 in the morning. It is 20 minutes to 11 in the morning. It is just another way of saying it is 10:40 a.m. In French, we do not have that, but instead we have il est 11h moins 20 du matin. Moins here means minus. So it is like you are saying 11 hours minus 20 minutes, and you get 10:40 a.m. Okay, and voila, that's all for today, and that's how you ask time and tell time in French. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.